Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurun Militannena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Shrayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijna Sahitam Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Kṛṣṇa Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Kṛṣṇa Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhana Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Paditanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So, reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary is Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Today's verse is 1873, chapter entitled The Perfection of Renunciation. This very nice verse, this, of course they're all nice. Arjuna uvāca, please repeat.
Arjuna uvāca.
Naṣṭo mohaḥ smṛtir labdhā. Tvat-prasādān mayācyuta. Sthito gata-sandehaḥ. Kariṣye vacanam tava. Arjuna uvāca. Arjuna said, naṣṭaḥ, dispelled, mohaḥ, illusion, smṛtiḥ, memory, labdhā, regained, tvat-prasādāt, by your mercy, mayā, by me, acyuta, O infallible Kṛṣṇa, sthitaḥ, situated, asmi, I am, gata, removed, sandehaḥ, all doubts, kariṣye, I shall execute, vacanam, order, tava, your. Arjuna uvāca, sorry, I'm translating in my mind. Arjuna said, my dear Kṛṣṇa, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and am prepared to act according to your instructions. Please repeat. Arjuna said, my dear Kṛṣṇa, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and am prepared to act according to your instructions. Purport Srila Prabhupada. The constitutional position of a living entity represented by Arjuna is that he has to act according to the order of the Supreme Lord. He is meant for self-discipline. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that the actual position of the living entity is that of eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. Forgetting this principle, the living entity becomes conditioned by material nature, but in serving the Supreme Lord, he becomes the liberated servant of the Lord. The living entity's constitutional position is to be a servitor. He has to serve either the illusory Maya or the Supreme Lord. If he serves the Supreme Lord, he is in his normal condition, but if he prefers to serve the illusory external energy, then certainly he will be in bondage. In illusion, the living entity is serving in this material world. He is bound by his lust and desires, yet he thinks of himself as the master of the world. This is called illusion. When a person is liberated, his illusion is over, and he voluntarily surrenders unto the Supreme to act according to his desires. The last illusion, the last snare of Maya is to trap the living entity, is the proposition, the last illusion, the last snare of Maya to trap the living entity is the proposition that he is God. The living entity thinks that he is no longer a conditioned soul, but God. He is so unintelligent that he does not think that if he were God, then how could he be in doubt? That he does not consider. So that is the last snare of illusion. Actually, to become free from the illusory energy is to understand Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and agree to act according to his order. The word mohaḥ is very important in this verse. Mohaḥ refers to that which is opposed to knowledge. Actually, real knowledge is the understanding that every living entity is eternally a servitor of the Lord. But instead of thinking oneself in that position, the living entity thinks that he is not a servant, that he is the master of this material world, for he wants to lord it over the material nature. That is his illusion. This illusion can be overcome by the mercy of the Lord or by the mercy of a pure devotee. When that illusion is over, one agrees to act in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Kṛṣṇa consciousness is acting according to Kṛṣṇa's order. The conditioned soul, illusioned by the external energy of matter, does not know that the Supreme Lord is the Master who is full of knowledge and who is the proprietor of everything. Whatever he desires, he can bestow upon his devotees. He is the friend of everyone, and he is especially inclined to his devotee. He is the controller of this material nature and of all living entities. He is also the controller of inexhaustible time, and he is full of all opulences and all potencies. The Supreme Personality of Godhead can even give himself to the devotee. One who does not know him is under the spell of illusion. He does not become a devotee, but a servitor of Maya. Arjuna, however, after hearing the Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, became free from all illusion. He could understand that Kṛṣṇa was not only his friend, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he understood Kṛṣṇa factually. So, to study Bhagavad Gita is to understand Kṛṣṇa factually. When a person is in full knowledge, he naturally surrenders to Kṛṣṇa. When Arjuna understood that it was Kṛṣṇa's plan to reduce the unnecessary increase of population, he agreed to fight according to Kṛṣṇa's desire. He again took up his weapons, his arrows and bow, to fight under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Makam karochi vachalam pangam laite girim yad kripa tamaham bande Sri Guru didatarinam. Arjuna uvāca naṣṭo mohaḥ smṛtir labdhā tvat-prasādān mayācyuta sthito gata-sandehaḥ kariṣye vacanam tava. Arjuna said, "My dear Kṛṣṇa, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and am prepared to act according to your instructions." Yes. So this is the completion of the journey. Right? This is very common. In literature, analysts have worked out that there is only about 6 or 7 or 8 plots. But all of them can be seen in this light, that it's in 3 parts. First, there is some confusion or separation or problem. Then there is a journey of experience, and then there is a resolution. You'll see many movies, many mundane novels, they all have this. Just like, of course, in the transcendental world, this is there. Just like Sanatana Goswami, he was the Sakir Malik in the court of the Muslim king of Bengal. But he was not satisfied. He was reading the Bhagavatam. But then he was separated from that. So he went on a journey. He met Lord Chaitanya at Varanasi, I think Varanasi. And he started the conversation, Ke ami? What am I? And why am I suffering in this world? Right? People say, I'm a learned pandit, I'm the minister of Bengal, but I don't know who I am. I'm a big Sanskrit scholar, Persian and so on, but I don't know who I am and why I'm suffering. What is this world? So then Lord Chaitanya instructed him, and then he came to Vrindavan and he became fulfilled. He learned his real swarup, his real nature. So this is common story, even in the material world, like in the movies. Like The Matrix, for example. Very famous movies a few years ago. There was one person, have you seen? So he was living in his place, but he was confused. What is this world? I'm not satisfied. And then he took the red pill, right? And then his illusion was gone. He realized that I'm nothing to do with this world. I have a different nature. And then he went through a battle. And then he became fulfilled. He became his real nature and found fulfillment in his real nature. Just like the Hindi movies. I haven't seen any. But one time I was looking at Connaught Place. I was in Delhi. And you know, Connaught Place, there's some movie theatres. And there was a picture of a hero, right? And he had a bandage and blood clot there. But he was like this. And on one side there was the Gundas, and on the other side there was the taxman. But he was a hero, battling for his family, right? And everybody watches it. Hey, that's just like my life. And then at the end, he's a hero, he conquers everything, all right? This is a very common theme. You know, we have some confusion, some problems, some separate, just like the Bible, right? Tomorrow is Christmas. They chose that date. It used to be Saturnalia in Rome. Anyway, just like the prodigal son. He was living at home. He had a big fight with his dad. Then he left and he experienced the world, but he wasn't satisfied. And then he went back to his home and he was accepted, right? He found resolution, fulfillment. He became a hero. So this is Arjuna, right? This is the primal story of Arjuna. At the beginning he was confused. What's my duty? Acyuta? The name here is acyuta, infallible one. Infallible means, acyuta means one who does not fall down. He doesn't lose his spiritual position. So he's acyuta, infallible. So I'm confused, now I surrender. And then Arjuna was educated, given knowledge in all departments, karmic knowledge, upasana kanda, jnana kanda, all compressed. The Bhagavad Gita is all the Upanishad knowledge. And now I'm firm and free from doubt. I'm fulfilled. I'm ready to act according to your instructions. I've gone from this starting stage of separation, problematic life, and now I am full of my illusion is dispelled, and I'm firm and free from doubt, and prepared to act according to your instructions. Just like Prabhupada says here, the living entity is angsa, mavai vangsa jiva loke, but he's bound in this material world because he's trying to enjoy. So he's very problematic. But if he struggles with the words of the Guru, with the words of the Shastra, then he can become a hero. If he doesn't, he becomes defeated, if he rejects. But even earlier, I was just reading the earlier verses, and Kṛṣṇa says that even people who just come and listen to the Gita, they become freed of sinful reactions. They may not become determined to become a pure devotee, to follow regulative principles, to perform sadhana, but still they become purified and they go to Svarga Loka. They get what's called a jata sukriti. They get some beneficial credits that puts them on the right direction towards a heroic thing. So in this way, this is what we are all, right, in our own way. We're all born in different circumstances, and we've all come to some inquiry. When it says in the Vedanta Sutra, right, the first sloka, atato brahmajignas, right? So that is the particular quality of a human being, to inquire into that which is Brahma, which is supreme. And this is not religious in a sense, it's scientific, is it not? Because we want to know what is the supreme, that which is supreme. Atato Brahma Jignas, inquire. Atato means different acharyas, they expand the atato means now you're a human being. But then people say now you're a human being that is living in a pious manner. You're performing your prescribed duties and you're avoiding pap. So you're a human being. Vipad pashu, that's in the Bhagavatam, that if you are unregulated and just wandering in this world, filling your belly and looking for sex life and trying to hustle some money, and there's no regulation in your life, you're not considered human in the real sense. You're not a real person because you're just acting on the bodily platform. But the special quality of the human is that he inquires, right? What is that? What is it that irks me? I'm not satisfied in this world. What is it? So this journey is there in the Vedas actually. It's a journey of consciousness ultimately. It's not a journey of the battlefield or external world. It's a journey of development of consciousness. So we find in the Upanishads, and Prabhupada mentioned it in the purport, that there are different levels of consciousness that the human being experiences. And also, Prabhupada, different places, it's in the Shastra, that there are 8,400,000 species of life that we can categorize. Not species in the modern atheistic, materialistic, scientific sense of the world, but categories. 400,000 humans. Different planets, different forms, some subtle, some gross, some rakshasas, some siddhas, some gandharvas, some devatas, so on and so forth. Categories. But the special quality of the human being is that this atato brahmajignas. And unless he inquires into the absolute truth, he won't feel satisfied. Because that is his particular quality. Those 8,400,000 species, each has a particular ability. Just like we have the chipkuli, can walk on the ceiling and not fall off, usually. The sheep can produce wool, right? The dog can smell you from 100 yards away, right? And he can even say he's in a bad mood, this one. Better be careful of him. They can sense you. And so every animal has a particular, it's called bhuti, vibhuti, a particular opulence, a particular quality. So the particular quality of the human being is this, to inquire as to the nature of reality. What is the purpose of life? What is Brahma? What is Supreme? What is the source? So the second verse in the Vedanta Sutra is Janmadi Asyata. That which is supreme is the source of everything. Huh? And this is very logical. Right in the Upanishad, Ishavasya idam sarvam yatkintat jagadam jagat tena tak tena bunjadam agrida kashasvitdanam. But actually even before that, there is Om Purnam Adap Purnamidam Purnat Purnat Udashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Visishyate. That the absolute truth is perfect and complete, and all emanations from him is perfect and complete. Even though so many complete units emanate from him, entities, he remains the complete balance. He doesn't become... So he's the source. He is that source. And the Bhagavatam starts, Janmyadhyasya, that this Kṛṣṇa is the source. And we're going to discuss it in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Amala Parana. So the Amala Parana, the Bhagavatam, is just progressive interactions between Kṛṣṇa and his devotees that lead us to the 10th canto, where Kṛṣṇa, Swayam Bhagavan Kṛṣṇa, is revealed in his Leela with his servants, with his cowherd boys, with his parental rasa, with his madhurya ras, and so on. And there's great philosophical treatises, the prayers of the Vedas, personified Vedas, and so on. So the Bhagavatam is that elucidation of Brahm, that which is supreme. So that is the inquiry of the human being. And we find that this development of consciousness, this journey to fulfillment, is also encoded in the different consciousnesses that we experience, or can experience. For example, this is mentioned in different purports, but it's there in the Upanishads too, that the first level of consciousness, when the soul attains the human birth, is Animoy. Ana means grain or food. So the child is born and he puts everything in his mouth, right? The Lego bricks or whatever, some socks. He starts to chew on it because he's on the level of food. Where's food? I need food, right? He doesn't have any other concerns. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I want to sleep. So that's called Animoy. So that child, when he's an infant, you can take to the zoo. Now they have in the zoo, you know, these kind of cages, but they have glass, right? And you can walk right up to the monkey or the ape or the dolphin. And you could put the baby there in front of the tiger, and the tiger's trying to, that looks tasty. But the baby's going, hello. It's like my teddy bear. So the next level is pranamoy. Pranamoy. That means I'm alive and I can be unalive. Right? I can feel threat. The child comes to that level where I want to survive. Prana means energy or life energy, generated by the soul in contact with the modes. So I want to maintain this body, this existence. So at that age, maybe starting very early, 2, 3, 1 or 2, starts to realize that certain things in this life are threatening. So therefore children, they want protection and they want affection. They want protection particularly from the father. They want nurturing by the mother. So the mother and father, they should protect the child and make it feel secure. And they should also give the child nurturing, encouragement, make the child feel valued. So then the child will blossom. So that is called pranamoy. It starts to grow, starts to experience life. Then the next level is manamoy. Manas, mental platform. So different ages. Yeah, when the mind starts to awaken, right? We start to think, what is this life? It comes to boys and girls, maybe around 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever. They start to look at the world. They start to look at the sky at night and say, what's beyond the stars? They're on this mental path, and they discuss, right? Young boys, they go to college and they discuss, are you into communism? That's nonsense. No, I'm a capitalist. Oh, I'm a globalist. No, I'm a national socialist. I'm going to vote for him. No, I vote for him. So they're always discussing, Animoy, analytically, analyzing. So we can all remember that in our life, right? When we were in early teens, later teens, some people never got beyond that, they stayed mental, because they don't get guru, sadhu or shastra. So the next level is vacanaṁ. Vacanaṁ in this context means the ability to understand what is spirit and what is matter. In this material world, there's a mixture of matter and spirit. Teachings of Lord Rishabhdev. Lord Rishabhdev puts it very simply. He says this world, there's two energies manifest, spirit and matter. So of course Animoy people, they think, oh, consciousness has grown out of a complexity of matter. The gross energy has created the subtle energy, has created consciousness. This is their speculation. But vijnanamoy means that this atakshari Krishna nama, this spiritual platform, this understanding of spirit, which is beyond the material conception, which is transcendental by definition, that has to be absorbed from Guru and Shastra. Guru make it, the Shastra clear. That's what is Guru. So, because we don't have contact with Chaita Guru, as the soul develops, he can get instruction from Chaita Guru. But at the beginning, he needs Guru to teach him the Dasha Muli. The Dasha Muli is the 10 primary points of the Vedas. And then he can start to distinguish between matter and spirit. You can understand. Oh, spirit is the manifest energy of the soul. Oh, sorry, consciousness is the manifest energy of the soul. And matter doesn't have consciousness, right? Like this. There's no consciousness. If I throw it, no objection. But that which has consciousness is assessing reality. So then he can understand that I'm assessing reality because I'm spirit. This microphone is transmitting what it hears, and you can even make a camera and you could program it according to wavelengths of light. And you could put a red sheet in front of the camera. And maybe the program could say, the computer was, I see red, I see yellow, I see blue. But is the computer, the camera, aware? Does it understand? Does it experience the red or blue? No. It's just a programmed thing. So consciousness is analytical, it's self-aware, it assesses. And that is also there, according to Acharya Shastra, that the consciousness is established, sat, it's there, it's awake. And then chit, it is analyzing, it is experiencing, it is self-aware, and it is deciding, ananda, I want happiness, and this is rejectable and this is acceptable. This is, I'm repugnant to this, but this is attractive. Accept and reject. Sankalp, vikalp. He wants to accept one thing and he wants to push away the other. So that is very important. And that generally is learned from Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, that there is spirit. So the inquiring soul, which is natural condition of the human being, when he hears this spiritual knowledge, just like Arjuna, in the beginning he was in illusion. What should I do? Should I fight? Should I not fight? I don't want to fight. Maybe I should fight. I'm confused about my acyuta. What's that? Karpanya dosho swapa. I'm confused about my duty, Kṛṣṇa. Now you instruct me. So then Kṛṣṇa led him through that journey of consciousness to understanding. What is the difference between matter and spirit? And Arjuna, your problem is you're hung up on the matter, just like Prabhupada here. Right? He elucidates this in the purport. You are trying to enjoy and decide on the basis of your interaction with the material energy, with your family, your friends, your teacher, your gurus, your big relatives, and you're assessing reality in that way. But your real way to assess your problem, Arjuna, Kṛṣṇa says, is on the basis of what is matter and what is spirit. And how will you best serve spirit, experience spirit, is by chanting Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So of course Arjuna wasn't told to chant Hare Kṛṣṇa in the middle of the battlefield. but this is in Kali Yuga the best way to tune into spirit. Hearing Shravanam Kirtanam, very important, but first the basis of all start of sadhana. Stane Shrutikatam Tanuvano. Whatever your situation, hear the Bhagavatam message. Hear the philosophy of the Bhagavatam, the Gita, the Leela of Lord Chaitanya, and you chant the Hare Krishna mantra. This will awaken your perception of spirit. And then you'll be able to distinguish between the mayā Shakti, the material energy, and the spiritual energy. That's Animoy. And then the next stage in the journey of consciousness is Anandamoy. Right? Anandamoy. Right? Because, sorry?
Animoy.
Yes, Animoy. So at that stage, because through sadhana bhakti and through loilam, through good association, sadhusanga, through study, regulated sadhana, through chanting, you are beginning to realize spirit more and more. And that means you're realizing that spirit is not just energy, but it is the emanation, it is the consciousness, the Chit Shakti is the consciousness of the Supreme Lord. And you're starting to realize, like Prabhupada said, you remember those sentences? He factually realizes the Supreme Lord, factually. So what does Prabhupada mean? In fact, in experience, direct. We've talked about this, that in the man-made religions, they say, oh, you have faith. But our faith is experienced-based. We have shraddha because we experience. When we chant nicely, when we do some service, when we eat good prasadam, we feel spirit, right? We experience. So that fortifies us, and as Arjuna says here, I'm firm and free, firm and free from doubt. I've overcome the illusions of this material world. What is the basis of illusion? Aham mameti, that I am this material body, right? My consciousness is generated by this combination of matter. And aham mameti, those things related to the body are mine. And they come to three parts, right? Griha, the material paraphernalia external to the body, and then the mind. These are the three externals. So that's very important point. If you want to, this is also mentioned in the Gita, in the yogic sections, that you should, when you perform bhuta shuddhi in your sadhana, you should sit quietly. And you should, I'm not this material paraphernalia that I'm laying claim to. Ishyavasha idam sarvam. I'm trying to be the controller and enjoyer. I am not this body. This body is my yantra rudrani mayā. I'm not even this mind, which is full of images and pictures, and happiness and distress, and tension, and this and that, and mohaḥ. Prabhupada says the word moha, illusory idea, illusory solutions, illusory analysis that are not connected with reality. Reality, sutri mani gna iva. Kṛṣṇa said, yad yad vibhutimat sattam shrimad ujitam eva va tat tat eva karo mya shejo sambhavam. That everything in this world is an emanation from me. And if you remember 13th chapter, Kṛṣṇa talks about the super soul and the living entity. And he says, don't look at the identities of things in this world, but tune into the spiritual platform. And then in the chapter, 3 modes of material nature, he says, Arjuna, beyond the 3 modes is the transcendental world, the transcendental Lord. So look beyond this material manifestation and tune in to the transcendental world. This is the vision. This is the dearest tatra namuyate. He's trained his mind and he's factually experiencing the transcendental world. And so param dharma, so his mind goes there because he finds pleasure there. He finds enlightenment. He becomes free of doubt. The material world is a place of kuntha. What shall I do? I don't know. Should I pay my taxes or should I not pay my taxes? Don't answer me. Anyway, so this, hope Narendra Modi isn't listening. Anyway, we should pay our taxes. So anyway, the point is, in the confusion of the material world becomes lost. What's that verse? Ekeha kurunandana. Bhu shakas hiyanantasya. Ekeha kurunandana. That the transcendentalist, his consciousness, ekeha, is one-pointed. But the materialist is bhuha shakas. Just like a tree has many branches. That's also 15th chapter, right? The inverted banyan tree. But the material world is very entangling, or the banyan tree, nobody knows where the beginning is, what the leaves are, but the root is the Supreme Lord. So you see that theme in these later chapters, that you always should see the material world, but you should see it in relationship to the transcendental energy, and you should tune to that. Then you're a mystic. So, this ability to distinguish vacanaṁ and then goes to anandamoy, because the devotee becomes blissful. It's there in the first verse of the Shikshastikam, right? Chetudāpanamarjanam. First, cleanse the purification of the mind, just like a chatigar. We all carry all these pots and pans on the trunk, but Kṛṣṇa kicks it. That is the first anartha. We carry all these misconceptions and Kṛṣṇa kicks it. So that's Chetudāpanam. Then Bhavamahānivagninap, we become peaceful. We begun to realize, just like first verse of, we sing every morning, Samsara-dava nanalidaloka. Right? He puts out, the spiritual master, his instruction, he placates the fire of material. It's like a rain cloud. What's next? Yes. No, in the Chetudāpanamarjanam, yes, Treya Chandrika. So once that material conception is purified, then this is the rising moon, the auspicious. Krishna's Ram Chandra, not Ram Surya. He appeared in Surya Vams, but he's Ram Chandra. Why is that? Vasishtha Muni says, because Chandra is always surrounded by stars, and they're the devotees. So the Kṛṣṇa is surrounded, he's the Chandra, but he's surrounded by his devotees. So then what's next? Then Anandam Buddhi Pratipadam. He becomes, he feels bliss, because he becomes in touch with the Supreme. So, how to walk that path? Loilam. But also one big accessory. Earlier Kṛṣṇa said, Arjuna, armed with what? Knowledge, yes. This is very interesting how Kṛṣṇa says that. Arjuna is a master of all those mystic weapons. You've read the Mahabharata. He put on a big display with Karna and everyone, and he's like coming out. He had all those powers, but Kṛṣṇa doesn't say Arjuna armed with the Brahmastra fight. He says armed with knowledge. Yes. So this is very important. This Shastra Gyan. Shravanam, hearing from Guru, the Dasha Muli, the basic points of the Vedas. And then at the same time, what should we cultivate? Karunika titikshava. We should develop good personality, right? We should try to become well-behaved, self-controlled, forgiving. That is the sadhu. The materialist, the end point of his afflicted mind is matsarya, right? 6 afflictions of the mind. Lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, matsarya, envy. First, mahashano mahapatma, kama esho. That lust is the root, the desire, Prabhupada mentions, to enjoy. And then after that, anger, krodha. We become frustrated, we can't enjoy. But Kṛṣṇa, you can enjoy the material world a little bit, but it should be done under regulation. You can get married, have children. You can go to the heavenly planets, you can enjoy there, but it's never satisfactory because we're the soul. So we want spiritual ras, we want bhakti ras. But we're not experienced, so we go for the lower grade. So then, krodha, and then greed, labdhā, next affliction, become, I had a little pleasure out of having a little money, so if I have a little more money, I'll have a little more pleasure. That's like thinking, I enjoy 2 chapatis, if I had 10 chapatis, I'll be 5 times happier. No, you become sick. So, material enjoyment should be done in a regulated way. Kṛṣṇa says earlier, don't explain this knowledge to somebody who is not austere, self-controlled, right? You have to be a little bit controlled, right? That's also there, 13th chapter. You should be detached from the general mass, and you should eat lightly. You should eat to live, not live to eat, right? That's a common saying, right? In yogic parlance. Don't. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said that if a devotee is getting fatter, then he's not doing very well. Once I went to an ashram, I won't say which, and the fattest people in the ashram were the sannyasis. It wasn't an ISKCON. They were all that big Bengali babies. Anyway, so I didn't say anything. But generally, devotees should develop self-control. What's that? Jivado, starting with the tongue belly. So then that will help him. So, what is it saying? Greed. And then moha comes, illusion, right? You start to think the illusory idea, if I get more money, if I get another $1 billion, I'll be happier, I'll get more power. Moha, then proud. Like Kṛṣṇa says, he describes the divine and demoniac nature. He says, so much wealth have I today, and I will get more according to my schemes and plans. He is my enemy, I've killed him. He is my enemy, and I will kill him. There's none so powerful as me. Proud. Illusion, pride. And then the pride means matsarya. Because people with money or opulence, they think, I've got money, so I can decide the fate of the world. Right, isn't it? The rich people think like that. I've made a few rupees with a bad operating system, now I'll decide how many people can live on the planet. So this is pride. Pride is opposite of humility. And so, matsarya, But then the opposite of matsarya is what we have to cultivate. Opposite of enviousness is kripa, karunika tatikshava. So we should remember that. We are armed with knowledge and armed with good character. We should, if we're a proud pandit, what kind of knowledge is that? We have to develop a karunika tatikshava. And that is in Kṛṣṇa book, I think it's in the chapter after the Govardhana Leela. Prabhupada says the spiritual master is the manifestation of the Supreme Lord's mercy. And right, and we worship Lord Chaitanya. Namo Mahavadanyaya Kṛṣṇa Prema Pradayate. Yeah. And if you read all the acharyas, like, O he Vaishnava Thakura Doyara Sangara Edase Karuna Kori. Right? Or if you read all, Sharanagati by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's always praying for mercy. Because Lord Rishabhdev says that one who is interested in going back to Godhead should consider the mercy of the Supreme Lord, the summum bonum. Summum bonum, that comes from Latin. It means the sum of all good things. He should consider the mercy of Kṛṣṇa, everything. And this is what's here, isn't it? Tvat-prasādān Guru Keshava. I've dispelled illusion, and now I'm realized, I'm firm from doubt by your mercy. It's called smṛtiḥ, causeless knowledge. It is the bestowal of mercy. So this is the secret of upasana kanda. Karma kanda means we're doing our duties, we're going to be elevated. Dhyana kanda says, I'm using my brain, I'm going to figure it all out, and I'm going to go to spirit. But there's a danger in there that Prabhupada mentions, that when you become liberated from the Maya Shakti to some extent, you may start to think, I am that spirit. I am God. I don't know how I forgot it. I was a rickshaw walla, driving a tom-tom 6 months ago. But now, I realize I'm God. Maybe? I realize that everyone's God. But if everyone's God, that means there's no God, right? If everyone's Prime Minister of India, if everyone's Narendra Modi, then there's no Narendra Modi. There's no one in charge, right? But so this is the last snare of Maya. Prabhupada mentions it there. So, but properly instructed by Vaishnava Guru, then you can understand, that spirit that I'm touching, and I'm getting the special taste of spirit. It is the grace, it is the introduction to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what should I do now? I should perform like Lord Brahma, his bhajan, by chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. And then that's our journey, right? Just like Arjuna has gone from this journey, from confusion, through knowledge to fulfillment. What's that? Kariṣye vacanam tava. Now I'm ready to act according to your instructions, your words. I've overcome this. I've realized my swarup. Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna and Kṛṣṇa ki jai. Any question? Go ahead. Okay.
So initially you stated, very good class, you have explained well.
Excuse me, say again.
Very well class, very well you have stated, nicely explained all the points of this.
The journey of the soul.
Journey of consciousness. So you have explained in 4 steps. Annamaya, Jnanamaya, Anandamaya, and then one more.
You want them again? First is Animoy.
Animoy.
The child, he just wants to eat. He has no other conception. Then pranamoy, maya. How do you pronounce that word? Maya. Moy. Yeah. Then he's realizing I'm alive and I can be under threat. So that's pranamoy. Then manamoy. The mind starts to awaken. Yeah. No, vijnanamoy. That you generally, unless you have some special grace of Kṛṣṇa, you need a spiritual teacher.
So my question is, this process, this 4 steps, does it have any relation with the karma kand, jnana kand and the upasana kand?
Well, yes, you could, but there's 5, because after manamoy is... after vijnanamoy, there's anandamoy. So that's the 5th one, when you're tuning into spirit. So that's interesting, yes. You could contemplate that, because at the beginning the karma kanda is there, Arjuna, but it's in relationship to bhakti. That's the special. So karma kanda means yes, but generally the stress in karma kanda is that I'll become elevated by performing my karma, my prescribed duties, very nicely, and avoiding pap, and then I'll become elevated. So yes, and that's the same thing with jnanamoy. Jnana-kanda is based on this idea to distinguish between matter and spirit. Not this, neti. Spirit is not this, it's not this, it is something different. This is variegatedness. Spirit is beyond variegatedness. It is nirguna. It is nirvisesh. But actually it means without material variety, without material qualities. So yes, if you follow karma kanda, if you follow jnana kanda, what you see, the Vedas doesn't just say, Chant Hare Krishna, go to the ashram, shevat. It says, it gives, like a funnel. A funnel, it's broad at the top of it, points. And you pour water into it, and it all goes into the point. So the Vedas gives prescription, it gives, there are 18 Paranas, those that are tamasic, those that are rajasic, those that are sattvic. So it gives prescription for all types of people. Some people may want to work, I want to do good things for humanity. I'm not ready to sit under a tree and chant Hare Krishna. So, but you see, because they're in the funnel, what is the point? Vedanta krit vedavid evachaham, right? In that verse. It all points towards learning Krishna. So karma kanda will make a person pious. He'll go to the heavenly planets perhaps. There he'll meet great sages. Indra, they have big kirtans there. There's pious people. Saints and sages are there visiting the court of Indra. They say that Vamana Dev is there in the court of Indra, top of Meru. There are the 8 Vasus. Bhishma Dev is one of the... Well, I've read things like that in the Paranas. So it will elevate the soul, because it will, from whatever position, and then there is the intellectuals, right? They're interested to jnana kanda. Oh, I want to study the Vedas. I want to learn this Vedanta Sutras. These Upanishads full of interesting knowledge, and I'm feeling some vibrance. So they are also on that path. But we understand the point of the funnel is Vedavid evachaham. It's pointing towards understanding Purushottam, the Supreme Person, you see. So all those prescriptions are there. And that's why the Gita is such a brilliant book, right? Because it gives, for the karmi, those that are inclined to karma, it gives prescription. Do your duty. But then Arjuna is told by Kṛṣṇa. But then he says in chapter 5, but do it as an offering to Vishnu. Don't just do your duty as a goal in itself. Buddha is an offering. What's that? Yagyata karmanonyatra lokayam karma. Right? You should perform that. And so Jnanakanda, these last 6 chapters, so many Upanishad knowledge, the divine and demoniac and this and that, but it's progressive, but it's pointing towards bhakti. So it's the perfection of the Vedic knowledge. And it's a sacred conversation. So yes, if you follow those, you will become elevated, because you are reciprocating with the Vedas. Veda means knowledge, and it's spiritual knowledge, not speculative knowledge. Of course, you should take care to have a properly realized guru in the thing. And what is guru? Guru means somebody who knows the end point of knowledge. Jnaninas tattva-darshina. He has seen Kṛṣṇa. Now there's some people are acting as guru, but they haven't seen Kṛṣṇa. But on a lower level, you can say, Guru Shastra Chakshus, right? A guru is somebody, he may not have had darshan of Kṛṣṇa, direct, but he sees Kṛṣṇa through the Shastra. So it's not that just the Paramahamsa, Mahabhagavat, Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami is guru, but anyone that has absorbed the Vedic knowledge and is on the right path can teach. Just like not only Beethoven is a music teacher, but any competent musician, you can learn from him, right? Kṛṣṇa says in the 10th chapter, Maksita matgata prana bodhayanta parasparam, right? The devotees, they discuss. So every Vaishnav is a guru, to the extent of his knowledge. It's not that only the Paramahamsa, or else, where's Beethoven? I'm not going to learn from you, I'm waiting for Beethoven. I want to learn piano from him. The local piano teacher's not good enough. No, you can learn a lot from the piano teacher. So you can learn something from Kṛṣṇa. Of course, those paths are less applicable in Kali Yuga. There may be within India, South India, maybe great pandits in these things, tantrics and pandits. But like in the West, nobody knows what Jnana is. I was brought up in the Western educational system. I studied literature. It's just speculation. My brother studied philosophy. He used to give me the philosophical books, Nietzsche and Kierkegaard, and I read that. What's this? I'm going to go out in the street and play football with my brothers. It'd be less of a headache. So it's just mental speculation. And also Western science is just mental speculation, right, isn't it? They change their theory every month. New magazine, new theory. Big bang, little bang, no bang. I got a degree in Big Bang, and now they're saying it's not the correct idea. So, but I'm still got a job from Big Bang, big nonsense. So, there, you see, that is called pratyaksha anuman. Yeah, pratyaksha. The speculative method is that through the senses we gather information. We might make the senses more acute with a microscope or a telescope, right? And then we anuman, we interpret it, right? We think, oh, look at this tooth. It belongs to a dinosaur that's 50 foot long. And he lived. Let's see. This dinosaur lived 500 years ago. And he must have chewed on a stone because there's a chip. So this is just speculation. Once I was in Nairobi. I was with one godbrother, Urukram. And it just came out in Time magazine. Lucy. I don't know if you remember, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And they found some bones in the plains of Africa. And on the front cover of Time magazine, there was the missing link, or our ancestor. And it had a full face and a big smile. And it was called Lucy. But then later on, they found out that the bones it dug up, you could carry in one hand. And there's the face, the expression, the hair, the fur, the everything, right? So Urukramanai, there was the temple in Nairobi, and his office was only a few hundred yards away in Nairobi. So we went down after the morning program. We knocked on the door. Urukram said, "Come on, let's go and see." And so we asked, "Can we talk to Dr. Leakey?" His name, big professor. Very good name, because his theories are very leaky. So we knocked. He said, "Oh yes, come in, sit down." And there was, it was in Africa. There's some. Yes, we'll ask him. So we sat there for 20 minutes, and then another professor came out, an African guy. He was a nice guy, friendly, but he was. It was in the morning. It was only 10 o'clock, but he could smell alcohol. Maybe they were celebrating. I don't know. So he came. We were sitting there, and he said, "Sorry, he's very busy. He can't see you now." Because he must have thought, "Oh, it's religious people." So then Urukram asked him, the professor. He said, "What is the purpose of all this inquiry?" And that he was a friendly professor or associate. He said, "Well, it pays the bills." That's what he said. It pays the bills. Right? So in Western academia, they all say that the first writing was cuneiform. You watch documentaries. They think anything east of Baghdad, which was Babylon before, Sumeria, they have these cuneiform. They apparently had wax, some kind of clay, and they wrote contracts and bills on it. So they think, oh, that's the first writing, and it was 3,000 years ago. So they don't consider India, right? Sanskrit, the most developed, wonderful language, they don't consider that. Everything, they don't consider the Chinese civilization, but they just think that we were all come out from Africa, and the first cities were in Sumeria, right? And the easy way to defeat evolutionary theory is, okay, our great-great-great-great-grandfather was some kind of ape. Now everybody here has got clothes on, but the apes don't. They have nice fur. So why did we lose our fur? We went north, right, into Europe. We went over the land bridge to Alaska. Why did we lose our fur? What's the advantage? Fur is very good, right? If you throw a stone at the monkey, it bounces off his fur. He doesn't like it, but it protects you from mosquitoes, keeps you warm in the winter, it keeps the heat off in the summer, it makes an insulation, right? So why should we have no fur? And the Eskimos, they're living in the North Pole, right? They should be like polar bears by now, according to evolutionary theory. But actually the Eskimos have the least hair possible. They have no hair at all practically. And they're in the coldest place. So next time you meet an evolutionist, say, why did we give up our fur? So we could wear fashionable clothes? Spend money on that? Right? We're having to wear turbans in the summer because it'll burn our head. We have to put a turban in the winter to keep our warm. Now just imagine if you had nice fur all over your body. Why should you lose fur? Through evolution. But they'll say something, oh well, the female monkeys found the bald monkeys more attractive. Right, they'll say something like that. But the female monkeys don't choose. It's the big ape that chooses. So all these stupid ideas. And this is Kali Yuga, it's the age of stupidity. So how do you conclude, how do you escape that illusion? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So we all have to be spiritual warriors, right? Because, Arjuna conquered his own Mr. We have to be like warriors. We have to be like Arjuna. Because what is that journey of the soul? We all have our anarthas, our illusions from previous conditioning. So our Kurukshetra, our battle is to overcome that and to become heroes, male or female. That is the journey of the soul. And that is, it is that endeavor that purchases the mercy of Kṛṣṇa. It is that. Ye tam mam prapadyante. Right? So we have to, regulate our activities, chant Hare Krishna, study, become saintly, become merciful, and then we become heroes. Right? Kṛṣye vacanam tava. Okay, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.